Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're reviewing NXT Deadline for 2023. Now before we get into the show, I grade everything on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. With that being said, let's jump right in. We start off with a pre-show match. We have Axiom versus Nathan Frazier. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was fun. I think these two guys wrestle well against each other. They're pretty evenly matched. I think Axiom is awesome. I think Nathan Frazier is awesome. This is a really fun match. Axiom picks up the win here. I'm giving this a 4. Then we go right into the show. We start off with Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, in the ring. As he's talking up NXT, we hear the music, CM Punk comes down to the ring. And this was cool. It kind of felt like his Raw promo where he didn't say much of anything, just kind of asked the crowd where he should go. It almost felt like the videos that they show every now and then after the show goes off the air and wrestlers are just goofing around. It kind of felt like Punk and Shawn Michaels were just goofing around here, but still pretty cool to see CM Punk on an NXT show. That's followed up with our North American Championship match. Dirty Dominic Mysterio defending against Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee, who is handpicked by Dom's father Ray to be the future of Lucha Libre. I think this match just didn't hit for me. It didn't get to where I wanted it to be. I've liked Dominic's matches. I've liked Dragon Lee's matches. I think Dominic's one of the best heels in wrestling. However, this match, it just felt like it felt flat for some reason. And I don't know if it's the Rey Mysterio on commentary, because I don't feel like he added much of anything there. Dragon Lee does pick up a surprising win here. I honestly thought this was easily going to be Dominic Mysterio going forward. I'm going to give this one a 3. I thought it was good, but not much more than that. That's followed up with our first of 2 Iron Survivor matches, this one being the women's version. We get Tiffany Stratton versus Lash Legend versus Blair Davenport versus Kalani Jordan versus Fallon Henley. And again, I don't know if the concept of this match was more of a miss to me, because I kind of felt the same way about both matches. Spoiler about a match I'm going to review in a little bit here. But again, this felt underwhelming. The whole penalty box thing, the Iron Survivor thing, I think it's one of those things that was better in concept than what happened in reality. I would have much liked this better if the penalties, like let's say you're put in the penalty box 3 times, you're eliminated for the match. That might have been a cool extra incentive, but it was already pretty convoluted with the countdowns and the people in the penalty box. I don't know, it just didn't hit for me. Blair Davenport picks up the win, which I absolutely like because I think she's a fantastic heel for the company. I'm giving this one a 3. It was good, not great. Afterwards, we see Lyra Valkyria come out, and she's pretty much staring down her next opponent, which will be Blair Davenport. While she's staring there, out of nowhere, the returning Cora Jade comes out, attacks Lyra, holds up the belt. Pretty cool way to reintroduce Cora Jade back onto the roster. She's been away with injury for a couple months now. Thought that was pretty cool. Also, on a side note, I think there's some pretty cool pictures that were being put out of her and CM Punk when she was a kid, and now that she's a grown-up and they're in the same locker room. Pretty cool seeing that kind of thing. Kind of like the old AJ Lee and Lita thing that they did a while back. That's followed up with a little backstage with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. They keep kind of sowing this dissension between the two that seems to be being ramped up by Lexis King, which leads us right into the match. Carmelo Hayes versus Lexis King. Again, this was another match that I feel it just underwhelmed a little bit. I think, and this is no knock on Melo or Lexis King, I think that I've seen better from both. This kind of felt like a going through the motions kind of match, and a lot of the show felt like it should have just been a regular episode of NXT instead of a premium live event. This match was good. Carmelo Hayes picks up the win here. Afterwards, Lexis King tells him that it wasn't him that was attacking Trick Williams. He just used this opportunity to get on the premium live event. I thought it was good. Again, I'm giving it a 3. I couldn't go much higher than that. Afterwards, we get a little interview with Cora Jade, who announces that she's back. Then we see more of Carmelo and Trick, and pretty much they put aside their differences. I like the slow burn here, because it's obvious that something's going to happen to facilitate a breakup of the two. But hey, I think it's pretty cool that they're they're slowly bringing it out. Next up, we have the men's Iron Survivor match. The aforementioned Trick Williams versus Dijak versus Josh Briggs versus Braun Breaker versus Tyler Bate. Again, I feel like this had some of the same setbacks the first match had. The first Iron Survivor did. I did like this one a bit better, and part of the reason is the end of it. We've seen Eddie Thorpe come out and distract Dijak, and we've seen Trick Williams basically come from behind after being beat most of the match and being in the penalty box most of the match and pull out the win basically in the last minute. Trick Williams does win the match. I'm a fan of Trick Williams, and I think the ending of this match was better than the ending of the women's match, so I'm going to grade it slightly higher because of that. We get Eddie Thorpe and Dijak going forward. They're going to have a match that they announced for Tuesday's NXT show. I'm giving this one a 4. After that, we see a backstage altercation between Metaphor and Briggs and Jensen and Fallon Henley, thus setting up a 6-man match or 6-person match coming up for NXT this week as well. I really like Metaphor. I think Lash Legend is becoming the breakout of the group, but the 4 of them together I think is a really cool pairing. That's followed up with our cage match of the evening, which I kind of thought would end the night because how long it takes to put the cage up, which it doesn't really anymore. It used to be back in the day it would take 10 minutes, but now it's only a couple because the way they lower it and everything. I digress. We get Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James. I really like Kiana James as a character. This match was a bit sloppy for my opinion though. Roxanne Perez is one of those people that has an unlimited, untapped potential and a very, very bright future. Kiana James I feel a lot the same about as well. She's proven that she could be someone that's a player in the game. This was a bit sloppy. There was a couple botches. A couple times where the spot they didn't quite come off the way they wanted it to. Ultimately, Kiana James picks up the win when Izzy Dane comes out and hits Roxanne with the cage door, thus helping her pick up the win. I'm giving this one a 3 again. It's a bit underwhelming, a little bit on the sloppy side. Therefore, I can't go much higher than that. Last but not least, for the NXT Championship, we see Ilya Dragunov defending against Baron Corbin. This was probably my favorite match of the night. I think Corbin has brought a lot out of Ilya as a character to go forward and build on. I like some of the things they did here. I like how they brought personal stuff into this. I think Corbin's having a great run in NXT. I like his reasoning to be there. I like the dichotomy of him being there to make money versus Ilya doing it for his family. This was a really fun match. I really enjoyed this. I think Ilya is at his best when he's fighting someone that's obviously bigger and stronger and he could show those emotions, kind of like Ricky Morton as the face in peril, and he could fire back and win with basically fighting spirit. This is a really fun match. Ilya Dragunov picks up the win here. I'm giving this one a 4. After the match, we go off the air with Trick Williams coming out and basically staring Ilya down, but behind Trick is Carmelo Hayes, thus again sowing the seeds of discontent between the two with little subtleties. Overall, I think this was a little bit of just a ho-hum show. The Ilya and Corbin match was really good. Axiom and Nathan Frazier was really good. I wasn't a fan of either of the Iron Survivor matches, even though I ranked the men's one pretty high. The concept was a little bit too convoluted. The other singles matches just felt like something you could see on any episode of NXT. The cage match being a little bit on the sloppy side. So this was a little bit underwhelming, and that's by the standards of what they normally do on their premium live events. I'm going to give this one a 3. I thought it was good. Definitely not their best showing, and definitely not one of the best showings of the year for them. If you made it here to the end, let's smash that like button, share the video, subscribe if you haven't. If you see where it says join, that's how you become a channel member. Becoming a channel member definitely helps out. If you made it here to the end, let me know what you think. What was your favorite match? What was your least favorite match? Do you like the Iron Survivor challenges? Let me know down here in the comments. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been my review of NXT Deadline.